Hello, guys, and welcome to Design Your Future, where we focus on your money, your mental, and spiritual well being. There's a topic that's been on my mind for a few weeks now, and I just couldn't understand what was going on, and that's the real estate market and the rise in the housing prices. Um, Earlier today, I actually ran across an article on CNBC, and it stated that the houses the houses prices has actually seen a 5% raise in 2020, and that is unheard of, seeing that what we have been dealing with. On average, the housing market usually go up 2, 3, maybe 4% on a good year, but 5%, seeing that we are dealing with a pandemic, it's unheard of. It's not good. Well, I guess it's good for people that sell houses, but it's not good for the economy, seeing that the spots that we are in. And you may be wondering what caused this. So when the coronavirus actually came, the first person was diagnosed with the coronavirus. After that, thousands of people died, and even more were hospitalized. It got so bad the federal government had to step in and pretty much close the economy. The only thing that was left running was businesses that was deemed essential. And because businesses had to close, they didn't have any revenue, so employees got laid off, they got furloughed. So because of this, we saw a big dip in the stock market, about 20 to 25%, and a decrease in the GDP, something that we haven't seen this drastically since the Great Depression. So the government stepped in and came up with some new laws to try to raise the GDP and get the economy stimulated again. The first thing they done was they dropped the interest rates. The next thing they done, they actually raised or gave a kicker to the unemployment. So people that was unemployed, they got the state unemployment, and they also got the federal kicker of $600. And the next thing they done was they came out and said that people couldn't be evicted. They put a stop on evictions. Now, when they put a stop on evictions, they did not put a stop on you clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. But back to what I was saying. They put a stop to evictions, but they did not compensate the landlords. So you have people staying in houses and not paying landlords, and the landlords can't keep the people out to get tenants in to pay. Now let's remember, landlords are small business owners also, and they have bills to pay themselves, and they rely on the income of their rentals. Another thing they done, they gave homeowners the opportunity to put 3 months of their mortgage in forbearance. Now, forbearance is just that. It is moved. It is on hold. Don't mean it's forgiven. At some point, homeowners will have to come back and catch that up. That's the first problem or issue that led to this rise in the housing market. Because of the low interest rate, we have a buyer's market, right? So people that want to be homeowners, they looked at this as an opportunity to, go get homes at this low interest rate, because the interest rate is nothing right now. So they could save thousands of dollars, and over 10, 15, 30 years of a mortgage term, you could save tens of thousands of dollars. So because of the interest rate, the housing market rose. Now, the next thing we need to look at is the coronavirus itself. The coronavirus is spread through contact. And like I said before, thousands of people died, tens of thousands of people was in the hospitals on respirators. It wasn't a good picture, and it's still not a good picture. The number still is on the rise. So, homeowners that wanted to put their houses on the market decided not to. Not because it was a buyer's market, which that would have been a good thing. They could sell their house at a okay price, but because they didn't want people coming in their house to actually view it, right? We know when you get ready to buy a house, potential buyers come and look at the house and decide if they want to buy it. Since this COVID-19, people didn't want people in and out their house because they don't know who was infected and who wasn't, they decided to not put their homes on the market until this pandemic got under control. So that's the second problem. So you have a low interest rate where everybody wanted to buy. Now you have a supply and demand problem, right? So you have the demand because of the low interest rate, but now the supply is not there because of COVID, because people are not listing their homes. So what you get is pretty much a bidding war. So now, if you want to look at it, it's a seller's market, right? You have a buyer's market because of the interest rate. Now you got a seller's market because of the limit amount of houses that's actually on the market. So this drove prices up even more, right? So you have a limited amount of people, limited amount of houses. When somebody found a house, you have 10 more people that saw the same house, so it get into a bidding war, which drive the prices up higher. Now, the third thing we need to look at, because people put their mortgage in forbearance, and because people can't get evicted, right? Because of the unemployment is still outrageous. So, for a minute, let's think that whenever this coronavirus is under control, right? When it get under control, the government is going to lift the restrictions that they put, right? So it's not going to be no more forbearance. Now you're going to have to pay it. Landlords going to be able to evict their tenants, and how they're going to pay it when they don't have a job. So we're about to see a large foreclosure rate, I believe. Something similar to 2008. Now, when all the foreclosure hit the market, what's going to happen to the housing market? It's going to drop, and it's going to drop tremendously. And we got to take in consideration that, people just bought these houses that was $10,000-$15,000 over market because of supply and demand. And when the housing market crashed, because it's going to crash, it's artificially inflated right now because of the money the government is pumping into the economy to help sustain the GDP and all of the stipulation that they put on landlords and banks. So whenever Corona get under control and all this stuff is lifted, foreclosure rate is going to be through the roof, and the housing market is going to drop. So I said it to say this. For example, let's say you buy a house for $250,000. After Corona, the housing market dropped $50,000. So that house is now worth $200,000. So right off the bat, you are going to lose $50,000. But that's not all you're going to lose. So you're still paying a mortgage on $250,000. So the whole term of your loan, you're gonna be losing money because you're paying it at what you bought that house at, and it wasn't valued at that to begin with, right? So you're not gonna be able to sell it, and if you do sell it, you're gonna have to come to the table with thousands of dollars. So I said it to say this: don't be fooled. The feds lowered the interest rate to entice people to go buy houses to raise the GDP, right? But don't buy into it. My advice is to wait. Wait until the coronavirus has subsided, or it's a vaccine, or it's better treatment to treat patients with coronavirus, and then buy. Wait till the economy corrects itself, and then buy, because it's going to correct itself. The housing market is way overinflated. So if you're thinking about buying, think twice, think 3 times, and don't do it. If you feel like buying a house, what you can do is like and subscribe to this video and click the subscription button and wait out the housing market. I thank you for joining me, and check out some of my other videos. Take care.